guys are okay. Was talking to them off air a little bit about the fires, which again, it's been over a month now, and they still need your help. We talked about this on air, how a lot of people just felt the need to like throw things at it, but it's important if you to hold on to some of those things, because in the months to come, it's going to be really important to keep getting
There's a lot of people
out.
that are just now figuring out where they're going to live, and we're in temporary housing, and so now they're like, okay, now I have a real house, but I don't have anything,
I don't have clothes on.
and a lot of the supplies have run dry. So we personally spent a lot of time at the Dream Center in LA, and they're still doing donations, I think 7 days a week, where people can drive up and get what they need. So if you want to still donate, that's
I guess this only doesn't really make sense in Nashville, but in Nashville you can donate to the Dream Center. But if you're going to LA, it's a great place to stop by. We take our kids and watch them donate. And I'll never forget what our 9, soon-to-be 10-year-old said as he left after spending a day giving diapers and wipes away to families
that need them. Run to the cars and give them.
He'd run to the cars as they drive by, and they would stop and get the supplies they need. We're leaving, and he says, "Dad, I just feel like a superhero." So it's a really beautiful thing, even from afar, to give your children a chance, the opportunity to feel like superheroes.
Well, we have a lot of people who listen in who do go to LA, whether it's to be, sing and do their own show and whatnot, or take meetings. Like you guys are also going back to London. You just got back. So there's a lot of that flow. So Southwest has 2 bags free. So fill one with stuff.
With some stuff.
Heck yeah.
It's easy.
And leave the suitcase with them. I'm sure they need that too.
That's actually one of the biggest things, because again, people were temporary housing, and then they were like, how do I get the stuff that I've acquired now in these last couple of weeks to my new location? So suitcases are actually very helpful.
You guys, just solving one superhero problem at a time. I love that. But we are also here to talk about back to
us.
Back to us.
Back to us.
You can also donate to the Cuban Refugee Foundation, which is a foundation I created that is not real, that helps feed our children. And you can support that by listening to Johnnyswim, buying merchandise, and going to Johnnyswim concerts.
I love that so much. Yes, you can. Okay, we support this. Yeah, support this.
So it was last year celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Diamonds, right?
That's exactly right.
And so what's in the works? What do you want to share with the listeners for 2025?
We just put out our 5th album called When the War is Over just last week. And we're super proud of it. It's an album that's very personal to us. It was basically diary entries over and over. It's probably the least we sat down and songwrited it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the term. And the most that we just kind of said, this is what we're feeling and has to get out of us. And so
it's like it would fester. These are songs that would have festered if they didn't come out. They had to exist. They had to, and we've never written an album in that manner before, and so it's a little bit nerve-wracking. It's a little bit, I don't know if you ever get overshare anxiety, where you have friends over for dinner, you have a couple glasses of wine, you wake up the next day and like, I told them what? You know what I mean? The entire album sort of feels that way.
But one of our favorite things about this album too which is something we did in our first album, but we haven't been able to do, partially because of the pandemic and living in LA and a lot of our, favorite players living here. But we got everybody into the same room and we recorded the whole thing all together, just old school style. So if you listen closely to like the separated tracks, you can hear everything. There's bleed on it. There's people laughing in the back. There's
one song in particular. We kept the scratch vocals on a song called "Slow Medicine" that Amanda sings. And you can hear, I tried punching, this part's maybe not quite perfect, let's punch that. Couldn't punch anything because you could hear the drums in the back, you could hear the guitar, the piano. So it's just there. It's very alive.
It's alive. I like that.
Yeah.
It's raw, it's real.
Yeah, so even just the memory of us recording it is super special, and hopefully that comes through.
Just kind of capturing that moment.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly right.
I mean, without spending too much time trying to polish this or shine that. It's just like, this is what it is. It's
we played it through a few times, and we'd figure out parts and what everybody felt was good in the room, and that was it.
There's we're elder millennials, so we remember the beginning of the internet. We remember we know the internet now. We remember the beginning of technology. I remember having a little MP3 player. Now you have access to all the music in the universe in your pocket at all times.
Right.
And so there's a little bit of that same sense in production and in recording, where now you have Splice and you have all these tools where, man, I really wish I had a 1973 Gretsch drum set floor tom. I can go find that in 10 seconds. It's all available to you at all times. And at some point it just feels overwhelming as a producer, as a creator, where it's like, I'd love to do it like we used to. Yeah. And so that's what we did on this album. We kind of went back to the old we went back to VHS for this one.
I was going to ask, did you actually record it to analog tape, or was it all digital?
We did record digital. We recorded it on
That's okay.
digital.
One step at a
It's all
time.
because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
cheaper.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well,
It's a lot cheaper.
the tape itself is pretty
Tape's
expensive these
expensive
days.
now,
Unless you
yeah.
want to fund the Cuban Feed
Right,
Your Kids,
exactly.
for,
That's
exactly.
Johnnyswim. So
You know what's funny is we're recording, and this is old school as well. We're recording every concert on this tour all year long, 2025, to cassette. It just came in our live cassette recorder, and I have this big deck of dubbers for cassette tapes. So like old school Dave Matthews shows or something.
Yeah.
At the end of the show, you can go to our merch table and you can buy the live cassette recording.
You've got the high-speed dub going
Yeah,
on where
high-speed
they
dub,
can walk
exactly
out
right.
with
Yeah.
a copy
You can
of the
leave with a
show
copy
they
of the
just
show.
saw and heard.
And we'll sell cassette players as well, because I'm sure most people don't have those.
well, and I love this because I think that people are craving the authenticity and the realness. I even was seeing something about Chaperone, how people were like, God, I miss when she was posting just her personality, and because everything does get to be so polished and confined.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you have things like a cassette tape, which that grit, and
Yeah.
you feel those vibrations. I mean, I encourage people all the time, listening to an album versus going to see
Yes.
it live.
Yeah.
It's a literal sound bath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
really feeling all of that. And so I appreciate what you guys are
Well,
doing.
thank you.
And,
I love this from the sense, especially because these days, like ticket stubs aren't a thing anymore.
Right,
That
yeah.
would be like
That's a
that
great
was your
example.
souvenir
Yeah.
of
Exactly
I
right.
was at that show.
Right.
Now you can walk out of the Johnnyswim
Right.
show with a cassette of the actual show, and maybe some fans yelling out in between songs.
Absolutely.
Like, listen
Oh, it's
when
going to be unhinged.
There's
a
no
little bit,
edits.
for
There's
sure.
not gonna,
Yeah.
it's not going to be
Exactly.
time to edit it. It's recording live to one cassette, and as soon as it hits, the show's probably going to be 100 minutes long. The longest cassettes we could find were 90 minutes. So, I mean, it's just going to stop kind of abruptly at 90 minutes wherever we're at. We're going to try to make it a 90-minute show, but if we're having a good time, it's never going to be short.
Well, that's where they come in with their videos and
Right.
whatnot. But I also want to value that they're paying for this, which helps you guys on the road.
Oh, yeah.
I think people forget all the time. Like I had someone say, Lisa, I had a song that got cut, and they're like, where do I buy it? My
Right.
family. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So I hit up the artist, was like, where do they buy it? And they were
Right.
like, I don't have any
Yeah,
platform.
exactly.
And I was like, how are we making money on this? And she was
Right.
like, I'm selling some patches.
Right.
And I'm like, oh no, like, can you send my
Exactly.
aunt a patch? Is that
Right.
the thing?
Exactly.
So I think, again, that all goes back into your funding. We don't have like the Tower Records that Japan has
Yeah.
to do that. So guys,
There's
support them.
you guys know this number better than me. There's like 100,000 new songs every day on Spotify.
I actually
Like,
don't
and that's
know.
just
I
a new
it's
thing, right?
overwhelming.
Like, when we were first in this very office, in this very studio, singing our
years,
first
yeah.
songs, that wasn't a reality. And just fast forward a decade, and that's where there's just so much to consume in the same way, similar to the conversation of wanting to record in the studio, seeing everybody. In the same way, there's just this overwhelming sense of music. And what we think we can add to this, if we're going to add anything other than just another song you can listen to, it's some sense of honesty, some sense of authenticity, even to the point of mistakes being obvious. And that's what we hope to add.
Jay and I do it every day here live in the morning. So hey,
Here. We've got Johnnyswim here in the Valid Music Studio on Lightning in the Morning, as we mentioned. And, well, if you've been listening to the show this week, because we've been talking a lot about the Johnnyswim show happening at the brand new Pinnacle venue here in Nashville, Saturday, October 25th. Tickets go on sale tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Have you guys had a chance to see the new venue
We're
yet?
going right after this.
Are you really?
And you know what?
Check it out.
I'm
And we're
asking
gonna
our
go-
manager what the pre-sale code is right now, so we can just leak it on the internet and on the radio.
Oh,
Yeah.
we get it. Love an
We love,
exclusive.
you know what I mean? But yeah, we're about to go see it, so we're super excited.
That's when I got word that was gonna. That
Yeah.
was like, we got the next show. It was like,
Let's go.
And then
So cool.
Lieutenant Dan followed up by saying, "Hey, would you guys be all right with having Amanda and Abner on the show?" It's like, yes, please.
Let's go. And I just got the code. If you want to you can wait till tomorrow at 10 a.m. to get your tickets for the show at Pinnacle, or you can get them right now at johnnyswim.com using the pre-sale code JS2025, all capital letters.
We're so creative with our pre-sale code.
JS, which means Johnny Swim.
Yeah, believe it or not. And the year that we are in, the
The year of our Lord, 2025.
Fantastic, very creative, yet keeping it simple for everyone out there. there. Did you guys want to play a song for us? Fantastic. I know we did a little bit of a sound check. I couldn't see the guitar, though. It was
what I'm saying?
Out of sight
It's
there.
here.
Beautiful Martin you got there, Abner. Which song would you like to play for us?
I want to play, if it's okay with you, my love, I'd love to play a song called I'm All Right. Is that cool?
That's great. I don't sing on this song, but I just sort of shout, so
yes.
it's really easy for me.
This song is autobiographical. It's a song that talks about my family a lot, talks about where we grew up on the west side of Jacksonville, talks about my father and some tragedies that my family's gone through. And the chorus says, I'm all right, I'm all right, I'm all right. I was excited to play this once we finished recording it for our son, who's about to turn 10 next week. And I remember playing this song with a tear in my eye. I was like, son, do you get it? Do you understand? He goes, yeah, Dad, it sounds like you're not doing all right. So here's I'm All Right. I'll start at the beginning, hold them off until I'm done. Then I got things to do, places left to run. I was born into a storm, a heartache miles wide. Mama kicking down, burning crosses on the west side. Oh, my daddy was the greatest, they tried dragging him to hell. You can't break that man in a cell, he ain't the one. On his knees, he's begging Jesus while they tore him down to pieces. He wasn't begging for himself, just for his son. I won't trade my story, I won't trade my pain. This fire that builds inside the battle. If you're here to rescue me, you're too late. I'm all right, I'm all right, I'm all right. I'm all right, I'm all right, I'm all right. I'm all right, I'm all right. Whole life is coming at you, throwing hatchets out in batches. If you're gonna live, you stand, you never run. I thought you knew that you can't choose what trouble's coming after you. Can't you see, oh boy, that's half the fun. I won't trade my story, I won't trade my pain. This fire that builds inside the battle. If you're here to rescue me, you're too late. I'm all right, I'm all right, I'm all right. I'm all right, I'm all right, I'm all right. I'm all right, I'm all right. I'm all right. Traigo conmigo historia, mis luchas como una bandera, enterrada en mis lava mi corazón. Pero traigo conmigo candela, traigo conmigo candela. I won't trade my story, I won't trade my pain. This fire that builds inside the battle. If you're here to rescue me, you're too late. I'm all right, I'm all right, I'm all right. I'm all right, I'm all right, I'm all right. I'm all right, I'm all right. I'm all right. Can't you see I'm like my daddy? I'm all right, I'm all right, I'm all right.
Brought to you by caffeine.
Good morning, good morning. Let's do 5 more.
I mean, I'm feeling all right now. We've heard that song and really enjoy it, and I appreciate knowing kind of more of the back end story. Because I'm like, yeah, it does give that, like, because you have your days where you're like, oh my gosh, one thing after the next thing after the next thing, and you're just like, you know what? I'm all right.
Yeah.
It's going to be all right.
It's gonna be all right, you know?
Yeah, why can't it be both, right? Like sometimes we over-focus on the tragedies or over-focus on the triumphs. Today might be a good day, might be a bad day. Regardless, I'm going to be all right.
Yeah.
Here, here.
Here.
We've spent a lot of money on therapy. And we wrote this album in hopes that other people can save some money on therapy if they
Listen,
need to.
if you see our therapist, Tim Long, in Beverly Hills, California, driving around in a Bentley, just know he earned it.
Well, and again, a good therapy session, October 25th out at the Pinnacle.
That's right.
So come
Let's
out
go.
and experience the live show with Johnnyswim. As we mentioned, Johnnyswim.com. The
right.
code is JS 2025. You
That's
can
it.
actually get your tickets
Easy peasy.
right now.
Memorable.
All capital letters.
Exactly. Thank you for that, Amanda. It's
Yeah.
memorable. It's simple but memorable.
That's right.
And then mentioned the new album is out now. So you guys going to be hitting the road before coming back
Lots.
in the fall, right?
Yes,
When does the
exactly.
tour start?
Starts March 20th in Indianapolis.
Okay.
And then we'll go for several weeks, and then we'll take a little bit of break over the summer, and then we'll go back in the fall, and that's where the very last show of the tour is Pinnacle. So we're going to be very excited,
Celebratory.
Very practiced.
very practiced, and we'll probably have too much fun.
I can't wait for the sound bath therapy.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Let's go.
I need to, and now that we've been talking about it, Abner, you bringing up having the ability to leave the show with
Yeah.
a cassette of
Yeah,
the show
man.
that you just heard. And so I gotta dig out. I know I've got cassette decks. I just don't know where
Yeah,
they are
right?
and if any of them work. I gotta
like
figure that
crazy.
out.
They sound really dope. Like cassettes sound great. They're imperfect or whatever, but it
Yeah.
gives you a version of what recording to tape does.
Yeah.
Because it is physically on that tape and it sounds that way. A little bit of warbles, some noise. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have a record. It's like a record player, CD player, cassette situation.
Oh, that's
I love
sick.
that.
Set.
That is
I'm
sick.
set.
I love that.
Need.
That's old school.
That's a need, not want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is definitely one of those. I'm glad I held on to it
Yeah.
items. You know,
For
my mom was like,
sure.
"You sure you don't want to get rid of this?" Like, I
gonna
got
keep
these.
it.
Yo,
I
we
got
were at
these cassette
Grimey's
tapes.
yesterday autographing CDs.
Oh,
And that felt like a blast. I
Wow.
was like, I get vinyl. That's like really, really old and it's
Yeah.
been cool for a minute. But now we're autographing CDs again. That's just, we've been
CDs
doing
are
this
quality,
for
man.
years. And it's the first
We've
time
watched
since the
CDs go
beginning.
out and then
we
come
watched
back.
them
Yeah.
leave. And we're now seeing them come back.
they went on vacation. They went on holiday.
And even
now
bigger
they're back.
separation, you're bringing the cassette back
Yeah,
around because that
exactly.
was before
That's
CDs.
exactly
So,
right.
yeah.
Oh, it's wild.
So many things to be excited about.
Absolutely.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped on a Thursday.
We're stoked.
We should we float the idea that earlier in the show we were excited talking about you all coming into the studio,
Yep.
and we had a little bit later in the hour we had a song by Teddy Swims coming
Yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And just, you get crossed up. You don't have enough coffee that early in the
Right.
morning. And Lisa mentioned, yeah, Teddy Swims is joining us. I was
In my
like,
head,
Like, is
I
this
saw you.
Teddy
coming?
and Johnny.
Why
Is
did
he
you
on
say
his way?
Teddy? I was
Slightly
like,
more tattoos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But we were thinking
We had an
and
idea.
shared it with Lieutenant Dan, who had a great idea that maybe we need to find do like a Lightning 100 pool party.
There we go.
Yes.
And we
the
have
swim party.
The
Yes.
Lightning 100
I can see
swim.
the merch.
The Lightning 100 swim team.
That is
That's really
brilliant.
great.
Johnny Swim.
And then
Teddy
I was
Swims.
like, we can, introduce the world to Nashville rounds. We have like
Yes.
you
There you go.
guys. We find one other,
Swim-related.
swim-related swim party.
Somebody with water.
Somebody out
Something
there
with
is changing
water.
their band name to Swim Something.
I know they
Yeah.
are because
They're
they're
like-
ready.
Yeah, they're gonna be ready.
We put a stage. We put a stage in the water, so you guys just back and
Yes.
forth.
Oh,
you know what I
done.
mean?
I'm literally saying like MTV Beach
yeah.
House.
Yeah, right. Spring break, right?
You have the
MTV
models
Spring
walking
Break
down.
back in the 90s.
Wearing Grimey's clothes.
Exactly.
I'm into it. The merch.
Exactly.
Wow.
I want to make this happen.
I
I
mean,
want to make
Lightning
it happen.
100 swim
Literally,
team.
let us
Come
know.
on. Let's go.
I mean, just
We
us
will
and
be
Teddy. Let's make it
available.
go.
Teddy, caca.
Exactly. Come, Teddy. Come swim.
Easy. The swims call to each other. The swim is calling.
And we know with that in mind, for folks that are listening that maybe don't know the story on how you guys named the band,
Oh, yeah.
We
Amanda,
were
would you-
bored.
really?
It was one of those things where this is the closest to the truth I will tell. Because
Hey.
the truth should probably remain a secret. But the
It'll be in the
closest-
book some years down the line. right?
Yes, yeah. We have a book out and there's multiple stories in there and you can pick which one you like the most.
That's right.
That's really what it is. But the closest to the truth is that it was a long inside joke with my family and us. I won't tell you where the inside joke came from because it's slightly inappropriate. And the inside joke became a nickname. And so our nickname in my family was Johnnyswim for a while when we first started dating. And so when we were looking for a band name, we were like, let's just do Johnnyswim. And then
No,
we had
no. When we looked for a band name, we said, let's do Swim Johnny
true.
Swim. So they said it was too long. So I said, all right, let's be Swim Johnny. She said, let's be Johnny Swim. So we compromised.
and we did what I
And we
wanted.
did whatever she wanted.
You know, and that's why we're married
usually how
happily
it works.
still. You know,
Welcome
but
to
yeah.
marriage.
So and we had a publicist tell us it was a horrible name, and we were like, I don't know, man. How hard can
Well,
you
this
think
is
about
why
a
we
name?
lie about it, because the publicist told us it was a horrible name. And so on the spot, we made up a story about our friend Johnny, who couldn't swim until adulthood. And his big dream was to swim the English Channel. We both knew Johnny, but we didn't know each other. And he unfortunately died swimming the English Channel. But we had these big signs that said, Swim Johnny Swim. And we realized that no matter what your dream is, no matter what your goals are, no matter what it's even going to look like at the finish line, it's worth trying. So we named the band Johnny Swim after our long lost friend Johnny. And she was crying. She says, it's a beautiful name. And I never said gotcha, but for the next
But we were like,
years,
okay. Yeah.
it's been a bit of a gotcha.
I thought maybe you were going to go to, the publicist didn't like it, but we did, so we found a new publicist.
Yeah. We did, but that's also true.
Also true.
All the tea here on
Yeah.
Lightning in the Morning. We love it.
Fantastic. It's always so great to see you all.
Thank you
Always
for
bring the
having us.
energy, no matter the day, no matter the
Damn
time,
time,
yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Thursday.
And we are ready. Again, Johnnyswim.com. You can get tickets to the Pinnacle Show before they go on sale to the general public.
That's right.
Johnnyswim.com. Use that code JS2025. But yeah, the general on sale tomorrow at 10 o'clock for the show coming up on a Saturday night in October. And we just learned that is the final show on the tour.
Yeah.
That's right.
And save up. You want to buy the tickets and make sure you save a little bit of money so you
The
can buy the
cassettes.
cassettes
The
on the
cassette,
way
man.
out. That's right. But again, Abner, Amanda, thank you so much
Yes,
for
it's
being
our
here.
pleasure. Thank you for having us. It
will
always
you-
feels like home.
Anytime.
Will you come back in October before the show?
Absolutely.
You won't be able to
Easy peasy.
stop us. We'll beat the door down.
Yeah, exactly.